いや、チッス。チッス。大丈夫か。でもね、なんだこのゲームって思うかもしれないですけど、シャーロックホームズバトルは9。じゃあね、先ほど、配信外で数戦、エイペックスやって萎えたんで、やめました。謎解きやるべ。シャーロックホームズ大好きなんよ。まあ、シャーロックホームズ大好きっていう割には、コナンがシャーロックホームズって言うから僕もシャーロックホームズが好きなだけであって、シャーロックホームズ自体の物語はよくわかっていません。音とか一応調整したんだけど大丈夫かな。おもろそうじゃないこれ。2ヶ月ぐらい前に買ってたんだけど、全然やってなかった。これおもろそうっしょ。サムネ大丈夫かな。はいね。サムネもちゃんと見れると。はい、OK。とりあえずやってくれ。選択肢は、これは、まず、一番高画質で全画面で垂直動機ってなんだろう。まあいいや。この辺は品質を上げましょう。音量は、まあやっていくうちにで。ゲームの設定、日本語、字幕はオンにしておくか。スティックこれあれ、コントローラーなのかな。遊び方。WASD で移動、シフト走る、タブで事件を。シャーロックの才能を働かせる、そんなのか。想像力を働かせる、なんか、結構多いな。難しそう。まあ行くか。とりあえず行くべ。あと、ワイプの位置、ずらします。待って、マウスカーソルが出ない。顔すごいする。飛ばしちゃった。これさ、マウスカーソル出ないんだけど、Windows キーを押してもさ、カーソル出させてくんないんだけど。たまにあるんよな。カーソルをサブモニターに持っていけないやつ。推理アイコンは容疑者の中の一人を告発できる十分な手がかりを揃っていることを示しています。来た。これだいぶ前にしたやつ、そう。だいぶ前に音声持ち上げる。だいぶ前にやろうっつってたやつちゃんと。これさ、わかるこれカーソル。俺左にさ、配信画面あんのよ。持ってけないのよ、これ。なんでこれ。いけどうやったらこれいくの？ Windows も反応しないんだよね。なんかわかる人いらん？コントロール T。おいおい。パソコンに詳しい人いませんか？動きません。そうな。違う。これさ、行きたいんよ。サブモニターに持っていきたいんよ。持っていけない。ちょっと待って。これだ、配信、ワイプ動かしたくても動かせないんだけど。どうすればいいのこれ。わかった。動画で、終わった。終わったなりー。メインメニュー戻っちゃうよな。わかんない。たまにあるんよな。Windows も開けないし。 助けて。助けてよ。我慢しよう。我慢してください。全画面やめてそう。けど、そう、俺も思ったのよ。そう、全画面やめて Windows モードにしようと思ったの。もう選択できなくなっちゃった。始まっちゃったら。そう、ちょっとじゃあ、とりあえずやるか。あ、ちょっとやめろ。やめろ。隠れる。うるさかったらごめん。何あいつ危なすぎだろ。銃撃つなよ。ホームズやめてくれないか。どんどん近づいていけばいいのな。君完全に狂ってるよ。なんとかなるべ。ホームズやめろ。ああ、ワトソンだ。君なのか。読まない方がいい。もちろん私だよ。とんでもない。僕は壺を狙っていたのだよ。
Watson, quiet please. I'm trying to concentrate. Ah, Lestrade. What is it this time?
He can see me. Well, here it is, and it's a good one, Mr. Holmes. A gentleman by the name of Peter Carey, also known as Black Peter, has been murdered.
A sailor, most probably.
What happened here?
Oh, Mr. Holmes, how could you?
It's the only exercise I've had all week. A grateful client from Limoges sent me a vase collection this morning. I couldn't think of a better use for it.
You're out of your mind.
I missed 4 out of 10.
Given you were blindfolded, that was very good. Can I have a try?
Am I the only sane one here?
I suppose that Watson is right, Inspector. A little brain work would be preferable now. Do please tell us more about Black Peter.
Peter Carey, born in 1845 and 50 years old. An ambitious sort, he achieved much success in seal and whale hunting around Scandinavia. Retired in 1884 with a small fortune. He invested his money in a property called Woodman's Lee, near Forest Row in Sussex. It was where he lived for 6 years, and where he was found dead yesterday.
Has the investigation already begun?
Yes and no. In fact, this crime is so mysterious that I would prefer you to join me down there.
Give me half an hour to prepare, Inspector.
Take your time and join me there. I have to go through the yard first. The merry men struck again.
What have they done this time?
They robbed a powder reserve. I'll meet you at Woodman's Lee, Mr. Holmes.
I should help Mrs. Hudson here. I also have several appointments that I must keep this afternoon.
I shall go alone then.
絶妙にブサイクあかんやろ。ダメだな。戻るか。ワイプを左下にしよう。で、ここからなら、全画面オフにしたの。オフ。再起動しろだ。なんとこったい。めんどくさいゲームや。で、それで Windows モードになって動かしやすくなるはず。でも俺フル画面でやりたいタイプなんだよな。まあいいか。うるさい。キャプ チャーされるのかな。キャプチャーされっけ？出してくれんだけど。まずいです、それは。キャプチャーしてくれません。なんて答えもむちゃくちゃや、このゲーム。画面映してからフルにして。で、すみませんね。俺の反応だけ楽しむクソだろ、そんな。見て、しかも英語やからな、全員話すの。字幕すら見れないってことになるぞ。地獄やろ。これでいいや。これでも全画面でやろう。もういい。メインモニターが触らない。終わるまで。まあ、1、2時間やりたい。1、2時間我慢や。他のに左右されず、俺は、正面だけを見続ける。だから嵐来たらもう対応できない。再開。行くべ。嵐来たら諦めます。おう、ここからか。感度高ー。ハンドチェック。ハンド結構酔うぞ、これ。これ酔うぞ、この速さは。ダメだ。ちょっと、速すぎる。こんなもんか。これ関係してんのかな。でも絶対これあれ、コントローラーだよな。今度下げすぎるとカーソルが合わせるのむずいんだよな。よっしゃ、行くぜ。あ、いい感じ、いい感じ。こんな感じだ。タブを押して事件簿を開くと、現時点の捜査の進展状況を確認することができる。課題証拠の。はい。ピーター・キアリー殺人事件の犯人が殺されたって言ってたね。ヒコリノリ。文字化けしてるな、字幕。ヒコリノリの犯罪現場に行きましょうと。テイク服を選び、レストレイドと交流する。はい。レストレイドがベーカー町を訪れたブラックピーターという名のもの。とりあえず、服を着ようと。これ話してみ
You
る。
go along to Peter Carey's house. Mrs. Hudson and I will take care of the mess you've made here.
相棒はこの部屋掃除してくれるって。コリのリーさん。ヒコリのリーさんですね。ヒコリのリーさんじゃないですね。ヒコリのリーさんですね。ありがとうございます。それ激おこだね。相棒やね、確か、ホームズも。
Oh, what a mess! What a
みんな怒って
terrible
ます。
mess!
みんな激おこです。服を選ぶんやろ？どこだよ。服はどこ？タンスだべ。このタンスでしょ。あ、これか。あれ？行けよ。あ、なんかいろいろあったわ。ここベーカー町。ベーカー町か。やはりブラックピーター。森のリーに越してきた。はい。書類なし。記念品、反響、人物像なし。着替えどこだよ、着替え。あ、こっちか。こういうの苦手なんよな。RPG 系のなんか、いろいろ探すの。あ、服。なんもないや、またそんな部屋。街名？ ベーカー町はもうあれよ。コナンにも出てくる。
This is where I keep my post. This is where I keep my post.
ベーカー町2じゃん。コナンでも。
My analysis table. It is useful for my
分
work.
かったよ。どうすればいいんだ。着ていく服を選ぶでしょ。俺、積んだ？チュートリアルで積んだ？あ、地図。
A map of London and the surrounding area.
はい。
It could
行かせてくれません。ワトソン？
You go along to Peter Carey's house. Mrs. Hudson and I will take care of the mess you've made here.
ケアリーの家。どうやって行くんだって。
Oh, what a mess! What a terrible mess!
着替えどこだよ。着替えだってこれやん。絶対これホームズの服やん。着させろよ。積んだ。どうやってやんのこれ。寝るか。F 押しちゃった。何の、へえ。これがなんか、才能か。おやつの。ホームズの才能。で、なんだっけ ?F がなんか人を読み解く的な、人の表情を見る的なね。あ、ごめんなさい。ベーカー町を、僕が今いるのがベーカー町でした。だから、こっちを押すべき
cannot
です。
leave yet.
ま
I
だ
am
要
not
はすんだ。
finished
なん
here.
で要はすんだよ。着替えだって着替えらんないんだもん。積んでるよ、これ。なんかあんのかなんか、これでなんか調べないといけないとか。なんもないですよ。
You go along to Peter Carey's house. Mrs.
積
Hudson
ん
and
だ。
I will take
積ん
care
だ。
of the mess.
Oh, what a mess! What a terrible mess!
服どこだって服これやん。こうしよう。着ていく服を選び、攻略サイト見る？そんな、開始5分で見るやつおる？
I cannot leave yet. I am not finished here.
ここにあんだよ、服。俺、これ着替えたいんだって。でも、癖で F 押しちゃう。でもこっち行けるってことはなんかあんのか？でもなんも反応してんのよ。ちょっと待って。シャーロック・ホームズ、罪と罰。シャープ1やってる人ね。これだ。なるほどね。とりあえず戻るか。なんかここに望遠鏡ある。なにこれ。絶対これ怪しいって、この望遠鏡。ほら。こんにちは。もしこれでいけるようになったか。これで服着れるんじゃね？
I cannot leave yet. I am not finished here.
また家休みずに見た方がいい感じかな、もしかして。地図
A
しよう。
map of London and the surrounding area. It could be useful.
壁を徘徊して見たでしょ？
My analysis table. It is useful for my work.
マジでどうすればいいの？あ、待って、こっちにも部屋あるやん。あ、そうだよな。ワトソンの部屋ってホーム。こっちやん、絶対。攻略見てません。そういうこと？これ全部ロックされてます。 やっと着替えできたわ。じゃないのこれ。ロックされてる。全部ロックされてるやん。にしろってことかな。いい。洋服ダンスへ。ガウン。船乗りの。普段着でしょ。黒い上着。いや、黒い上着かっこいいな。めっちゃいろいろあるやん。ダサいダサい。山賊めっちゃ服装あるんですけど。これいいね。なんかこれかっこよくない？今回選択した動画もう少し現在利用することができません。標準値に戻りますか？あ、はい。謎解決して服を集めるってことね。先行ってくださいよ。で、これでいけるんですか？よーし。どうも IQ200 です。
Mr. Holmes, I'm over here. Come on.
残りのリーでレストレイドと合流する。あの人どこ行った？走れ、おじちゃん。頑張れ、シャーロック。よーし。ホラー感すごい。
Inspector Lestrade, when will you remove my husband's body? It's sacrilegious to leave him here like this.
As soon as we can,
絶対こい
Mrs.
つ犯人。
Carey, I assure you. Allow me to introduce you to Mr. Sherlock Holmes. He's a detective. No doubt you've heard of him. I'll wait for you in front of the cabin, Mr. Holmes.
My condolences, Mrs. Carey.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes.
たまには銃撃戦。結構なんかね、グロいのは出てくるっぽい死体とかで。あの晩何かが変わっていたことを死体を見つけたとき、教えてくださいよ。え？パトリ？あー、で、これで完成した人物像ね。これで今この人の人物像が分かりましたよと。こんにちは、何これ？シャーロック・ホームズの謎と推理ゲームです。残りのリーさんじゃな、何なんだろうね。なんだこれ。これはもう完成。これ終わったやつか。これ終わったよと。あの晩何かが変わっていたことを死体を見つけたとき全てが楽になる。
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, madam. このおばちゃんと話したから次じゃあ、この警部と。
Mr. Holmes? Mr.
酔
Holmes?
っ払ってんのかお前。ここ事件現場ですか？あれオープンワールドすぎてちょっと難しいんですけど。証拠。ピーターとの不幸な結婚で、ジューディス・ケアリは不快な生活を送っている。彼女は非常にローマカトリック教徒で、若い頃にサンディアゴ・ホーラの巡礼路を歩いたこともある。この人が死んだ人ね。で、この人が奥さんね。で、ピーター・ケアリー、ブラック、堀のリーに越してきた。はい。完了。犯罪現場を調べる。殺人現場はそうだ。はい。オープンワールド、苦手です。どこ？犯罪現場。操作させなさい。おい、ここですか？開けな。本当に。どこ行けばいいの俺。 ここはもしかして死んだの？こっちだ。こっちの小屋やん。嘘つくの？あ、待って、これで、ゴッドアイ！石の小道。足跡。あ、調べたいです。足跡はかなり大きいそうです。あるものが必要。捜査は警察に任せてきに、
Peter Carey's body is inside the cabin. We took care not to touch anything.
犯罪現場はそのまま保っとかなきゃいけないからね。
Mr. Holmes?
お前も酔っ払いか？こっちか。じゃあ、行きます。黒いかも。黒かったらごめん。閉まってんの？はい。
Wait just a moment, Mr. Holmes, and I'll open it. I locked it yesterday to ensure that no one should enter the cabin and tamper with the evidence.
Ah, good thinking.
Hello, hello, hello.
What is it, Lestrade?
It seems to me that someone has tried to force it, Mr. Holmes.
Let me see.
よくないですよ、こじ開けるのは。ゴッドアイ！引っかき傷。
These scratches are fresh.
まだ新しい。
You're right. Someone tried to force open the door.
I swear these scratches were not here yesterday.
Now, a mysterious visitor came here last night.
Well, he's not the man for the job. This lock is not a difficult one.
Perhaps he did not have the right tool.
ああ、グロいグロいグロいグロいグロいグロいグロい。
What a terrible way to die.
バンされない YouTube。大丈夫これ。YouTube バンされない？バンされたらいいや。どんまい。スイッチ行くわ。
This place is not covered with dust.
あ、なんか置いてあったのね。
An object was taken from here. It was larger than a book. A box or a small chest, perhaps. なんかあったんだねと。 The ship's logs of the Sea Unicorn for the years 1878 to 1884. Peter Carey was her captain.
被害者が船長でしたよって。棚柱、地図。死んでる！いつも何人もキルしてる。生々しいの見るとちょっと怖いな。特にこれはなさそうだな。
Dundee.
これの音だな。
Someone drank from this glass
誰
recently.
かが最近このグラスを使っている。
Someone drank from this glass recently.
タバコ入れ。おお、すげえ。
The initials PC have been crudely
ピーター・
burned.
ケリーだろ。
A sailor's work.
回転させる。
This aroma is familiar, but to recognize it, I must construct my associations in one picture.
あ、どうやって動かすの？あ？これ動かしてどうすんの？引きずる？飛ばす？あ、こういうこと、あ、こういうことね。あ、そういうことね。そういうことね。難しいよ、これ。難しいやつ来ちゃったね。 俺こういうの無理よ。こうだべ。惜しくない？なんか惜しいよ、俺。こんな感じじゃないの？来てます、来てます。
Yes, this is a coarse tobacco, quite strong and very popular among sailors.
人気があるタバコですと。
Rum.
ラム酒。
Sailor's drink.
船乗りが
It
好む
seemed
酒。
that Captain Carey was enjoying a drink before he met his
酒を飲ん
death.
でたと。ないぞー。やだ。調べたくないけど調べる。えぐいえぐいえぐい。
This man is in his 50s,
頑
yet he
丈な
still
体
looks
つき。
quite strong.
あえが。
The weapon fully penetrated the body. The force of the blow was immense.
莫大な打撃力。力必要だよな。
Peter Carey was fully dressed. He was not caught by surprise. It is possible that
知
he
人の
knew
可
he
能
was
性
the
と。
murderer.
死の、おう、グロいね。ナイフ。ナイフあらゆる方向に回転させて。
This blood is from the pool underneath the dead body. This blood is
死
from
体
the
の下の
pool
血の海から来た
underneath
も
the
の。
dead body. This wooden handle is plain and
無
solid.
事で頑丈
Peter
ですよ。
Carey tried to defend himself with this
あ、ナイフで
knife,
防御しようとした。
but he did not
それはそうだ、無
succeed.
理だったと。
JHN are probably the initials of the
誰だ、
owner of this
JHN
notebook.
捨てよ。 G
The pattern of the blood stain indicates that the notebook was not lying on the
死
floor
後に
prior to the
落ちたと
crime,
手帳
but
は
it was dropped into the pool of blood after the death of Peter Carey.
はいいらんないのか。開けます。おお。ちょっと待って。あー、なんかすごい。怖いから戻る。手帳の中身が。下手くそ俺もしかして。
The Sea Unicorn. She was the ship that Peter Carey commanded.
むずいね、これ。
Peter Carey's boots. They look to be a size
多いから。
8.
サイズは8。ゴッドアイ。あ、
Old navigation instruments.
方
Nothing interesting.
法兵器。これで殺したんか。
Harpoons for hunting whales. The ship's logs of the Sea Unicorn for the years 1878 to 1884.
むずいな、これ。
Peter Carey was her captain.
これ完璧に調べたところは緑色に光るんかぽいな。完璧に調べたらなんか緑色って感じだね。ってことはこれまだ調べ足りないやん。
The tooth of a sperm whale, probably from one of Peter Carey's catches.
強制的に、この画面に戻されたら、もうそこはおしまいですよってことか。ってことはまだこの地図は地図まだ調べ足りないわ。
Hammerfest. It's a whaling map.
で、はいはいはいはい。勝手に、じゃあまだこの死体が調べ足りないやん。胸は OK、顔は OK。OK。
Peter
Mori.
Carey was impaled to the wall by a whaling harpoon.
はいはい。これで全部一通り終わったかな。で、推理をするのか。何かすごい。 手帳。はい。頭文字のついた顔の手帳、血がついていることから、殺人が起きた後に血の上に落ちたこと。壁に張り付いているピーター・キャラ、蝶のように壁に刺さって。押し入りを試した。誰かがそう入ろうとしてたね。で、これどうすればいいの？関連付けろってこと？関連付けのね、手帳。ダメだ。おお、こういうことか。待ち伏せを計画する。今晩誰かが再度押し入ろうと戻ってくるか確かめるため、待ち伏せ。はいはいはいはい。
Huh. Someone was here yesterday. They attempted to force the door to gain entry.
待ち伏せの準備をしましょう。だから、こっちにいるレステイル、警部と待ち合わせしましょうよと。
Well, Mr. Holmes, what do you think?
I think that we are lucky
And why is that?
because of last night's attempted break-in.
Oh, you've
男な
lost
の
me.
か？
It is very probable that whoever came here hoped to find the door open. They tried to force it with a knife blade, but they failed. What will they do? Why, return tonight, when they will be better prepared.
Aha. So what do you propose?
We shall remain on the outside, near the window, where we stand the best chance of catching sight of our visitor. Well, gentlemen, ready your pistols. We have a long night ahead of us.
Long night. そんなに言うんだったら証拠を出せ、証拠。こんな絶対出てこないやろ。で、どうすんの？
Mr. Holmes?
じゃあ、
This window is locked from the inside. I do not see any attempt at a break-in.
すいません。あ、これとこれ、さっきの足音合うんじゃね？
We need to find a good place for an ambush. Perhaps behind Carey's cabin, near the window.
こっちで待ち合わせ場所を、隠れる場所を、
This looks like the perfect hiding place.
よーし。証拠を出せ、証拠。おしまい。です。これ面白いな。むずいけど面白いな。こういうのがいいんよ。だって人殺さなくていいんだもん。勝手に人死んでるから。こんにちは。これがエイペックス的ですか？はい、そうです。エイペックスレジェンズです。たった俺1キルしました。1キル、キルレイチストレ。あ、やばい。バレるだろ、こんな待ち伏せしてたら。勝手に人死んでるからいいやばい。やばい。
Shh. Did you hear that? There's someone there. I'm gonna collar him.
I'll be right behind you.
Police! Hold it right there.
急げ。と捕まえろ。
Mr. Holmes?
お前、ホームズさんしか見えねえのか。フライ画面の
All right, my fine
上げら
fellow.
んないんだよな。
Who are you and what are you doing here?
You're detectives, I suppose. You imagine that I'm connected with the death of Captain Carey. I assure you I'm innocent.
Innocent? And what are you doing in his cabin?
Shall I tell you? You came to retrieve what you had lost after killing Peter Carey, but we were here waiting for you.
What is your name?
John Hopley Nelligan, but I didn't...
Do you deny that you came here yesterday?
No, but yes, it's just that I couldn't.
I'm tired of this. Off we go to the yard. Tomorrow, I'll see that you're put in front of the judge.
What? But you can't. I'm not. It's a terrible mistake.
Enough. You can explain all of that to the judge. You're coming with me to the yard.
But
In light of recent events, it seems evident that your coming here was unnecessary. All the same, I'm very grateful to you, Mr. Holmes.
You are welcome, Inspector. But please don't be too hard on our young fellow. I would like to question him tomorrow morning.
今の証拠出す。そんな状態じゃなかったよ。いやーとか。これさ、これジョン・ホプレ・ネリガンってさ、どこにあるかな。これなんよ、ジョン・ホプリ・ネリガン。ほら、これでしょ、頭文字。こいつなんよ。多分これを回収しに来たんよ、こいつは。とりあえず尋問しに行くか。
Good morning, Mr. Holmes. Can I help you?
Good morning, Constable. I would like to speak to the fellow who was arrested at Woodman's Lee last night.
Ah, the young man. He's waiting in the interrogation room. You can go straight through. His belongings are held in the evidence room.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Holmes?
見たーす。お、怖いな。なんもねえよ。ネリガンの所持品。
These are the
あの
suspect's
若者か。
belongings.
やっぱこれを回収してたんだな。
That we found on Peter Carey's cabin floor. These abbreviations mean something, but what? A pocket knife. It was used to force the door of Peter Carey's cabin.
これで開けようとしたの
A
か。
handkerchief with the initials JHN.
From
And partner, 1883. From R. Dawson. To my friend, Dawson. I've seen this name before. Perhaps my archive holds the answer.
Choco. 書庫まで行くのめんどくさいよ。尋問やろう、尋問しようぜ。どこだ、ネリガン、どこだ、出てこい。チルの忘れた。怖っ。霊安室やん、ここ絶対。解剖するところっしょ。いや、怖すぎ。なんもないなら、開けとくんちゃうわ。情報出せ、情報。
Locked. Locked.
おっちゃん。
Mr. Holmes?
ほーん。よう、ネリガン。お前だよ。お前と話をしたかった。
The police seized this valuable ring from you. Whose is it?
I didn't steal it from anyone. It has always belonged to me.
Never mind.
Q 押すべき。
The police seized this valuable ring from you. Whose is it?
I didn't steal it from anyone.
キーを押さないといけない
It
の
has
かよ。
always belonged to me.
捜査を続けるために容疑者の陳述を覆すことができる証拠を選ぶ。で彫刻だろ。
The ring's date of engraving is many years ago. You would have been a child then, hardly in any position to receive such an item from a partner. The sea knife was found near Carey's body. Tell me, Mr. Nelligan, did Mr. Carey try to defend himself or to attack you with it?
I don't know. I didn't kill anyone.
誰も殺してねえよと。
Does this notebook belong to you?
Yes. But where did you find it? I did not know. I thought I'd lost it at the hotel.
What do these abbreviations mean?
Oh no. I beg you, I can't. If I told you, it would only make things worse.
But I will find out eventually, Mr. Nelligan.
あ、なぜめっちゃ項目あるな、調べる。おう、カナム。精巧なボタン。タコ。短い袖。傷跡。ネックレスか。細い首。これは終わったんや。終わりましたよ。
Well, I will see you soon, young man.
Please let me go. I'm innocent.
バイバイ。じゃあね、普通のダボーデンスは彼の役目は一体どうすればいいんだつ。ヘリカは19歳くらいの青年、裕福な幼少期を送ったが10年前に父親が失踪した後、家族は貧乏に陥った。そのため、幼かった彼は魚をさばく仕事をして家族を助けていた。そのような肉体労働を長期間やっていたにもかかわらず、ネイガンの体はやや強弱だと。
Mr. Holmes?
被害者の血の海に落ちていた手帳を取り戻そうと誰かが押し入れようとした。押し入れを試みた人物が犯人だと言える。未熟で訓練されていない男が森を投げて完全に体を貫通できるほど上手に投げることができるのか確かめる必要がある。はい。
I need to stage a reconstruction. I'm sure that Watson would be happy to oblige.
相棒に頼むか。ワトソンさん。ってことは、ベーカー町に戻ろう。ワトソンさんが俺の部屋片付けてるから。実験が必要ですよ。あ。で、行きましょう、ワトソンの元へ。ワトソン。アンブラー途上あったか
A spot of whaling, Watson. Would you care to take part?
Are you serious?
No, but we do need to clarify what happened on the night of Black Peter's murder.
A reenactment, then? Is something bothering you?
The sailor's knife, Watson. Why was it on the floor?
Peter Carey attempted to defend himself?
It is possible, but if that is the case, then it alters many things.
I don't quite follow you.
Tell me, my friend, what is the animal closest to man, morphologically, I mean?
Ah, I see what you're getting at, Holmes. You asked me that once before, on the Ripper case, I believe. Do you want to slit some more pigs' throats?
No.
Thank goodness for that.
I wish to impale one with a harpoon.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Watson, let us pay a visit to our butcher friend in Whitechapel. We require the carcass of a well-fed pig.
And the
Pig.
harpoon?
One of the harpoons on the wall of Black Peter's cabin should do quite nicely.
Let's go, baby. ちょ待って、一応チェックしようか。おじゃーす、じゃーす。ってことは移動すればいいのか。
I need to take a harpoon with.
めんどくせえな。森を拾いに殺害犯行現場まで行くか。犯行現場にあのおばはん怖いね。ストーカーか。
It seems that the garden was well maintained. That should do it. Now I am ready for the.
ぶっ刺しに行くで。合成みたい、森が。ほい。よし。
Well, here we are in the preparation room. I can't say that I like the smell of it much. What do you intend to do?
To indulge myself in a little experiment. The challenge of lancing a pig's carcass with a heavy harpoon.
A little experiment?
Stand aside, Watson. This might be dangerous. I am not well practiced in this exercise. Yet.
おばはん
Holmes,
謎
you
よ
should
な。
aim for the mark in order to perform the most reliable test.
息を止める。
The harpoon has struck the body, but with insufficient strength to pierce it straight through.
むずくね。おれキルレイジ。
This is the best possible result that I could get. Do you see, Watson? Throwing a harpoon and pinning a man to a wall requires either exceptional strength and training or diabolical luck.
If it was luck, then it was a chance in 1,000 that night.
Well, yes. Let us leave now.
All right. But before we go, I suppose I'll have to pay for all these carcasses you've happily mangled.
Very well, but please hurry.
Of course.
推理。森を投げて男の胸を貫通し壁まで突き刺すには並外れた腕力が必要になる。熟練度を要する。男が2人で協力して行った場合も同じような結果が達成できるかもしれない。運が良かった森投げ。未熟で訓練しない男がありえないと。終わりか。ワトソン、かわいそうだよな、ワトソン。ジョン・ネリガンは普通のところなんです。次どうすればいいの？何すればいいか書いて。僕わかんないから。どうすんの？力技だ。どうすんの？もう一回じゃあ犯行現場調べるか。ごめんな、ワトソン。片付け頼むで。やること書いてくんないと俺わかんないよ。 どれ
These boots don't
あ、一致しないの。
footprints.
はい。出せばいいな。
The ship's logs of the Sea Unicorn for the years 1878 to 1884. Peter Carey was her captain.
完全に迷子ですね。あ、迷子です。すいません。え。迷子。おばちゃんに話聞くか？おばちゃん。あ、あるよ。
Madam, can you tell me if you saw or heard anything unusual upon the night of the murder?
At 2 o'clock in the morning, I heard a terrible scream. But I thought nothing of it then. He would scream all the time when he was drunk.
Can you please tell me what occurred on the evening of the murder?
Well, Peter got drunk in the evening. He was in such a terrible temper. Usually whenever that happened, he'd stay all night drinking in his cabin before passing out.
機嫌が悪いと酒を飲むと。足跡何なんだろうね。
Do you remember at what time you found your husband's body?
In the morning, at around 7 o'clock, I noticed the cabin door was open, but I didn't go in to take a look, for I knew my husband would not have liked it. At around 10 o'clock, I dared to glance in through the door and... oh dear.
Was your husband accustomed to receiving visitors?
Oh no, I don't think so. I mean, he didn't really have many friends. He lived quite an isolated life here, after his retirement.
これと似たようなことね。思ってたのか。
Is this your husband's tobacco pouch?
I'm not sure. It might be, but he hadn't smoked in a very long time.
The garden is very large and well maintained. Do you employ someone to look after it?
It is true, there is a lot of work, but my husband took care of it
待
himself.
って、地震。あ、これ、いや、待って、地震、めっちゃ揺れてんだけど。ちょっと。お、今、大丈夫か？地震だよな、これ。揺れてるっしょ、俺。震度2ぐらいか。結構地震だよね。こういう時は Twitter で地震。地震です。Twitter で地震調べると、地震かどうかわかります。地震です。止まったか。はい、大丈夫です。
Your husband's private papers. Do you know where they are?
There was a small tin box, barely larger than a book. He kept his papers there. It should be somewhere in his cabin.
You have indeed suffered a great loss, Mrs. Carey. Nevertheless, I believe it will be less of a burden for you soon.
Yes. Life with Peter was never easy, but he was still my husband.
He was different, wasn't he, when you first met him upon your return from Plymouth?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. Oh my goodness, but how do you know about that?
プリマスはどうやって、プリマスって何？全然話聞いてなかった。とりあえずで、ミスったの選んだわ。
You have indeed suffered a great loss, Mrs. Carey. Nevertheless, I believe it will be less of a burden for you soon.
Yes. Life with Peter was never easy, but he was still my husband.
He was different, wasn't he, when you first met him upon your return from Plymouth?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. Oh my goodness, but how do you know about that?
プリマスどうやって知ったの俺。巡礼。合ってたわ。
You undertook a pilgrimage to the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela when you were young. That much is evident from the rosary in your hand. The shortest route for the pilgrim from England to Spain is from Plymouth. I believe that you met Peter Carey as a young sailor there, and you married him soon afterwards.
That is indeed what happened, Mr. Holmes. How extraordinary.
わかるかぞな。
Thank you, madam.
どうなしやお前は。ジョン・ネリガンを調べに行きたいな。ジョン・ネリガン調べるべ。ピーター・ケリーはタバコを吸わない。庭師はいない。ダメよ。一致しません。どこ行けばいいの次。なんか人増えてね。
Mr. Holmes?
いたはーん。君たちは話せるか話せないのか。君はおっちゃん。ダメだ。
At your service, Mr. Holmes. At your service, Mr. Holmes.
あんなりと。
Mr. Holmes?
いたはーん。かない。違う、思い出した。なんか証拠でさ、なんかなかったっけ？私の書庫を調べれば的な。これこれ。
These are the suspect's belongings. These abbreviations mean something, but what?
とりあえずじゃあネリガンに一声かけてから書庫行くか。自分の家か。ネリガンお前まだここ来た。まだお前もし、誰だお前。ネリガン。元気してる？
So, Mr. Nelligan, who is the true owner of the ring?
The ring is mine.
嘘をつくな。あれ違うの？
So,
The ring is mine.
報告。どれ？
so,
The ring is mine.
これか。
no, Mr. Nelligan. I believe that the ring had belonged to your father.
Oh, but how do you know?
The jacket you are wearing is made of an expensive fabric that only a man of exceptional wealth could afford. You do not seem to me to be a rich man, Mr. Nelligan. Furthermore, the garment is ill-fitting. It is quite clear that it belonged to someone else, most probably your father. With your father gone and taking with him the family's wealth, as a little boy you had to find yourself a manual job, and it was most probably cleaning fish. You cut your hands often while working. I can tell from the scars.
I'm speechless, Mr. Holmes. It all happened exactly as you say.
Well, I will see you soon, young man.
俺を舐め
What
る
am
ん
I
じゃない
doing
よと。
here? I've done nothing wrong. What am I doing here?
舐めるなよってことや。で、今度はミスター、こっちだ。書庫で調べる。洞察力やばすぎでしょ。ないわ。 とりあえずは調べることから始まるそうです。そこで調べるべ。ここか？おお。ありすぎ。そんな植物じゃないな。絶対歴史だろ。歴史の、ドーソン。ドーソン。ドーソン。ドーソンどこ？これ全部調べなあかんの？無理だよ。
That is not. That is not.
OK。
That is not.
連打ゲーでした。
That is not.
はい、連打ゲーです。
That is.
いないやんけ。新聞も見なあかんのかーい。これやん、絶対。百科事典しかないと思った。マシはローソン&ネリガン投資会社が破綻？ネリガンは失踪？何しとんねん。ローソン&ネリガン投資会社。コーンウェル州に拠点を置く地方銀行は、価格の押し倒れ損失が原因で破産宣告を受けて倒産した。英国で23番目に大きな銀行で、歴史上2番目に最大の負債額になる経営破綻。会社の破綻は多くはコーンウェル期に破滅を起こした銀行家の一人であるジョシュア・ネリガンは、不可解な失踪を遂げた。これがさっきのネリガンのお父さんか。最後に彼を見たのはノルウェー出発に備えて準備をするためヨットに乗り込んでいるところだった。ネリガンは現在捜索されていると。
Here it is. Now I begin to understand that young man's story, but I am still unclear as to what connects him with the murder. It is time to ask him.
これ読んだ。今度また会話で尋ねないといけないのか。またネリガンのところ行くか。大変だな、これ難しいな、これ。エベックスより頭使うやんけ。楽にできるもんだと思ってたよ。オープンワールドは大変だぜ。どけどけ。言う。
I have heard the story of Dawson and Nelligan, the West Country bankers.
Yes, Joshua Nelligan was my father.
I am aware that it had a bad ending. When the bank failed, it ruined half the families of Cornwall, whereupon Joshua Nelligan disappeared.
My father was under extraordinary pressure. Dawson had retired. I was only 10 years of age at the time, but it was still old enough to feel the shame that befell our family. My father was convinced that he could pay off all his debts if the creditors gave him time. He set sail for Hammerfest in Norway in his small yacht, just a few days before an arrest warrant was issued. He left my mother a list of the securities he was taking. No word was ever heard from him again. We believe that his vessel went down, taking with it everyone and everything on board.
Thank you for the story, Mr. Nelligan. At last, we are making some progress. Interesting. Joshua Nelligan and Peter Carey were both at sea in Norway. There is definitely some connection between Peter Carey and Joshua Nelligan's disappearance.
ウィス。バイトで見なくなるからアーカイブで見ろ。ありがとう。なんかドタついてるとこはどんどん飛ばしてくれ。結構ドタついてること多いから。公開日誌ってどこにあるの？公開日誌は、犯行現場や。バンカー、銀行出たね。疲れた。結構疲れたわ。 増えてるかな、手がかり。増えてないわ。10日にした分、あったべ、こっちに。
1883. That's the one I need. This is the crew list of the Sea Unicorn.
被害者が船長。
Log notes for June. Log notes for July. Log notes for August. Log notes for Canada. There are 3 ways.
やべ、連打しすぎた。切り取られてるよと。有価証券。これあれじゃない、さっき言ってたやつじゃない、証券。ネリー考えてた。とりあえず、ベーカー街のどこかにいるからベーカー街に行くか。むずいよー。ジョークミーンを探し出しましょう。
Something new, Watson. I have the list of sailors who were aboard the Sea Unicorn. We shall soon learn what happened to Nelligan's father. I have only to find them. Let us hope they are still working at the harbour.
I think that if you pretend you're from Scotland Yard...
I doubt it, Watson. And really, I would prefer that all of this remains quiet for now. But I have another solution. I'll call in the specialist.
And who might they be?
The secret police division of Baker Street.
Ah, you mean young Wiggins and his gang?
Yes. Believe me, you'll receive more useful assistance from these little urchins than from a dozen yard detectives. Those children are everywhere. They see and hear everything, and they are cunning. All they lack is organization. I'll summon them.
How will you do that?
There is always a watch beneath our window. I have only to call him.
なんかね、このベーカー街っていうのにはね、あ、こんにちは。なんか、子供たちがいて、子供たちなんつうんだろう。子供たちに金を渡して、なんか、探偵みたいなことしてもらってるんよ。
You can give him a sign from the window.
子供たち、たくさんの子供たちが捜査を手伝ってくれると。
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
Wiggins, I need you to track down certain people for me. I'll give you a list. You can read, can't you?
Big Oliver from our gang. He can, because his father is the coachman of a famous lawyer.
Fascinating. Here is the list of sailors.
Sailors? Easy. Just got to look where the rum and the red lights are.
Sorry to trouble you, Mr. Holmes, but the inspector asks that you come to the station as soon as possible.
Thank you. I'll be there shortly.
ヤードに警察署に行ってさ。これで子供たちに捜査をしてもらってる間に、おっちゃんから話聞くべ。おっちゃんどこ？前か？あ。
Mr. Holmes, I'm glad to see you.
As always, what happened?
We have a new suspect, Liam Hurtley. I'm thinking that this case will be resolved very quickly now.
Interesting. Pray tell.
Well, the constable that I left at Woodman's Lee noticed a suspicious individual prowling around during the night.
Do you have him here?
Yes. He refuses to speak with us.
拷問してやる、拷問しろ。
Let us.
俺が拷問してやるぜ。
Ah, yes, and one more thing. The constable told me that at the time of his arrest, the fellow was writing a letter.
Do you have it?
Of course. It's in the evidence room, at your disposal. Admit that for once, Mr. Holmes, Scotland Yard is a step ahead of you, eh?
Breathtaking.
ホームズをなめんなよ。ハートレ
These are the suspects.
おいおい、この靴はやばいぞ。
Liam Hurtley's old boots.
絶対あれに合致するぞ、庭の足跡。
The stains are fresh. They can be removed with the proper chemicals. A pen. Nothing unusual about it.
尋問するか。拷問してやるよ、俺が。手出せて。
Please escort this
訪
suspect
問しに来ました
for
わ。
interrogation. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sherlock Holmes. I would like to ask you a few questions.
I've already told the police that I've nothing to say. And you're not even part of the police.
Precisely, and considering your situation, it might be wise to speak with someone who is, shall we say, rather more neutral. You are a suspect in a murder case.
I know. Inspector Lestrade told me. It's ridiculous.
Could you at least tell me who you are, and exactly what happened that you should be brought here?
My name is Liam Hurtley. That I can tell you. But you're not getting any more than that.
Well, we shall see.
拷問しに行くか。ボコボコにしやんぞ。後悔しても遅いからな。振り柄。庭師の手。殴れ。ボコボコにしないよ、俺が。
That's all for now.
What am I doing here? I've done
うるさい。分析を行う。使い道を見つ。使い道を見つ。ハートレイ。兵士。はい。どっち調べんのこれ。ああ。ホームズのになんか薬品みたいな
I'm
や
not
つ
saying
あったミスター。
another word.
あったよな、ホームズの家になんか化学薬品だってやつ。一応推理しとくか。何もすることなかったでーす。これだっけ？これだ、これだ。
I need to prepare a chemical agent that is capable of removing fresh ink. For this purpose, the chemicals from the flasks
あるん
should
す
be
よ。
combined in a certain
これは
order
記憶力がいいんで覚え
to
てるんで
perform a
す。
chain reaction. First condition, all 7 reagents should be used.
やばいやばいやばい。
Second condition, orange reagent should be the third one in the sequence after the blue reagent. Third condition, colorless reagent should be added after the orange reagent.
うん、終わったわ。うわ、
First
まあ。
condition,
7つすべての試薬を
all 7
全部
reagents
使用
should
しろ。
be used. Second
オレン
condition,
ジ色の試薬は間に
orange reagent should be the third one in the sequence after the blue reagent. Third condition,
無色の試薬はオレンジ。
colorless
はいはい。
reagent should be added after the orange reagent.
あ、積んだ。積みました。記憶力いいから。むずくねこれ。青は入れて、ここで緑入れて、青やって、で、オレンジ入れて、IQ200 です。でもこれでいけるよ。なんたって僕、IQ200 あるからね。はい、これで。チェックメイトだ！
Done. Now I can proceed further. Let us see if the content of this letter sheds a little light upon the mystery.
オラオラオラオラオラオラ。ゴシゴシ。ゴシゴシ。
I did as you asked and hid them well. Interesting. How would Hurtley react to this?
Easy game. 会話で尋ねに行った。お前の牙城を壊してやる。待ってろよ。ボコボコにしてやんぞ、俺が。血吐くまでボコボコにしてやるぜ。待ってろよ、ハートリー。いつまでもそんなだんまり決め込めると思うなよ。
Please escort this suspect for interrogation. So tell me, Mr. Hurtley, what did you hide?
Hide? What are you talking about?
I did as you asked and hid them well. Should I continue?
My letter? But the ink? That's impossible.
A touch of chemistry.
大したことないんだよ、そんなの。
Well, you're a smart one. But it's nothing. If you want to know, I was referring to my tools. It was to do with my work, see?
I will check that, Mr. Hurtley. That's all for now.
帰国子女。字幕いる？何の字幕？俺行くか、とりあえずじゃあ、足跡。消化しちゃうか。マジ？推理が、なんか増えてる。終わり。この庭にある足跡を消化。くたばれ、チェックメイトだ。ちょっと待って。
These boots match the footprints exactly.
で、推理ができる。正体不明の人物、ライアム・ハートレイのブーツが木こりのりの足音と一致した。よってこの男があの場所にいたことは確かだ。けど奥さんは庭師じゃないと主張していると。固まったゲーム。大丈夫？ゲーム落ちました。ゲーム落ちました。少々お待ちを。ゲーム落ちたんですけど、固まって。大丈夫？データ飛んでないよね。 このゲームはエピックゲーム、フォートナイト出してる会社のところで無料で販売してました。期間限定で無料ゲー排出してるんよね。だからならまあいい。こっからなら許そう。で、B で、終了。こっち目に行くか。レイハートさんよ。いつまでもだんまり決め込んでちゃダメです。こっちは証拠あるんですからね。ボコボコにしてやんよ。それでも吐かないって言うんだったら。あちこれやっちゃおうかな。
Please escort this suspect for interrogation.
あ、これいっちゃうで。
Tell me, Mr. Hurtley, what were you doing at Woodman's Lee?
Woodman's
行
Lee?
ったこともないだ。舐めたこと言ってんちゃうぞ。
The second pair of boots that you had with you when you were arrested perfectly match the footprints found near the cabin where Peter Carey was murdered.
Footprints? That's your proof? How many men have boots like mine? That doesn't make me a murderer.
Now that your presence at Woodman's Lee has been proven, would you care to explain it?
I don't remember. What would I be doing there anyway?
庭師か。
Now that your presence at Woodman's Lee has been proven, would you care to explain it?
I don't remember. What would I be doing there anyway?
Because you are the gardener at Woodman's Lee.
I'm not. How did you...
I observed your hands. They told me that you work with the earth. Small fragments of plants snagged to your trousers indicate that you were mowing very recently. But the most obvious clue presented itself in the bird embroidered on your handkerchief. A crested tit, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, you got me. Yes, I am a gardener. I went there to get my tools.
That's all for now. Hurtley's stories are false leads. But now I know one thing for certain. I must examine the site where the garden tools are kept at Woodman's Lee.
調べに行くか。通りのリーさんに。この事件解決したらこのゲーム終わりなんかな。別の事件はなさそうだな。これ終わったらもう全部終わりって感じなんかな。あ、もうこれがめちゃくちゃ長いか。ヨーバーさん元気かい？
Does the name Liam Hurtley mean anything?
ハートレイ、心当たりあるでしょあなた。
No, I don't know anyone by that name.
嘘をつくんじゃない。
Madam, we have information that the valuable stolen papers are hidden amongst the garden tools here at Woodman's Lee. We need to find them.
Oh my. Our tools are kept inside the shed that's right behind me. Here is the key to open it.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, brother.
Let's see what could be hidden here.
God eye! バカたりがこんなところに隠しやがって。
Let us see what is in this box.
爆弾これ。むずいよ。いい事件。
A bundle of letters in a woman's hand with the Carey family monogram. Hurtley and Mrs. Carey were in a relationship. That is interesting.
ハートレイと奥さん、不倫してたん？これ良くないです。情熱的な文通をふざけな浮気かよ。浮気はマジで許せねえっつってんだろ。ボコボコにしてやる人。ボコボコにしてやんよ。
Madam,
お前を
I
森
am
で突き刺してや
aware
ろ
of
う
your
か。
affinity with Liam Hurtley.
What are you talking about?
異議あり。文通。
Mrs. Carey, we found your letters.
My letters? I asked Liam to return them to me. I wanted to burn them.
Why did Mr. Hurtley put them inside the garden shed?
I don't know. I wanted them back, but I couldn't see him, not after what happened.
Well, here they are.
Oh, this is terrible. Terrible. Liam, how could he? After what he has done.
You believe that he killed your husband?
No, I do not know. I do not know. Leave me alone, please.
Thank you, madam. I wonder if Wiggins has managed to find any sailors.
不倫してたくせに泣いてんちゃうぞ。不倫は携帯おられらんけん。もうボッキボキよ。ボコボコにされるやろな。ライアム・ハートレーやピーター・キュレンの妻を誘惑し、また彼女に恋をして、だが彼らの関係、無害な言葉が書かれた手紙状なんだっけ。ああ、そういうことね。なんか、がっつり浮気してたわけではないのか。ハートレイの愛情と庭師として働いていた事実が彼が殺人を起きた晩にだという説明になります。ライアム・ハートレイはピーター・キャリーの妻を誘惑し、また彼女に恋をしたが彼は絶望的な嫉妬し、ライアム・ハートレイ、なるほどね。ライアム・ハートレイのジューディス・キャリーの関係がピーター殺しの動機になった。ハートレイの愛情とね、マジかよ。見えてきた、見えてきた、見えてきましたよ。
Mr. Holmes, we found the sailors from that list you gave us.
Well done, Wiggins. Let me see. This is interesting. Let us review. This is interesting. Let us review the other sailor. This man is a harpooner, and his initials are PC. the same initials that were found on the tobacco
しかも森
pouch.
内だからな。
Wiggins, could you gather some information on one of the sailors that you found? His name is Patrick Cairns.
しばらくして。
We found Patrick Cairns.
Good job, Wiggins. Where is he?
He lives in a small furnished dump of a room, but he's always at the Sea Witch pub, where he does arm wrestles for money and drinks.
Excellent. Here is your reward. 2 guineas.
小遣い。
Thank you, sir.
あとなんか追加されてる。もしタバコ入れがパトリック・ケアンズのものだとすると、彼は犯行現場にいたことになる。それでも確認が必要だ。そうだな。
If I wish to speak to Cairns without alarming him, I had better dress as a sailor.
船乗りに変装しろだ。あるの知ってますよ。だって最初船乗りの格好しようとしたもん。これや。
Now I can approach Cairns and see if he recognizes the pouch.
Let's go, baby! Let's go, baby! お、すごい。ドイツだ、ドイツだ。扉を開けます。お前かパトリック・ケンズお前だな。おい。飲んのちゃうで。
Hello there. Are you Cairns?
What do you want?
We've heard all about the gambling and arm wrestling here. You seem like the likely sort, and I'm up for it.
I start at 10 shillings.
Suits me.
表情を読み取りながら彼の動きを倒す持ちこたえる不動状態を判断して対応さ。持久力がなくならないように注意します。おお、難しそうだな。耐えて耐えて耐えて。油断したところで。やばい。頑張れお前。何してんだ。この弱まった時に。あ、クリックね。クリック連打ね。バカタレ。何しとんねんバカ。
That's the arm that killed 100 whales. Care to lose another 10 shillings?
やめねえよ。
I'm ready to try
ボコボ
again.
コにしちゃうんよ。
Fine. If you want me to take all your money, no problem with that.
クリックで攻撃ね。ここだ。ここだ。今だ。力入れろ、お前。耐えろ。 もう無理、勝てない。飛ばします。おれーザクゲ。俺の勝ちや。
You were lucky. I wasn't focused. Let's go again.
続けなくてよかったわ。負けてもよかったんだ、別に。こんにちは、ハーレー・ダビッドソン。こんにちは。どうも。シャーロック・ホームズです。終わった？この人終わり？上積み？
I've had enough. You're too strong.
Come back later when you can use your arms again.
はははははは。もしかしてもう一回これ潰さないといけない？
I'm ready to try again.
Fine.
これね、自力で勝たないと話進まない感じめっちゃむずいんだけど。
No problem with that.
力入ってその時は持ちこたえるで、こいつの顔がほわーんってしてる時に力入れる。こいつの顔がほわーんってしてる時に力で、体にほわーんってしてる時に力。ポワーンってしろ。顔ポワーンってしろ。顔がポワーンってしてるとき。連打じゃ。ポワーンってしてるぞ。ドーン。ザグゲ。
Well, good for you, I reckon. You're stronger than you look.
俺の勝ち。
Here's your 10 shillings.
I'd like to buy you a drink.
Good winner as well. That's good. Let's have a drink.
Heavy.
You're a good type. Seems you've managed to settle down in life. You've got money, eh?
Not all that much.
Oh, well. At least you're not as poor as me.
俺やん。
Why do you say poor? You're not working?
I'm a harpooner. But you see, the whalers are rare. They don't pay much. So, as a result, find myself arm wrestling to pay for my drink.
俺もじゃあ酒場で
Harpooner.
やってこようかな。
Interesting. You've had a lot of adventures, I bet.
Of course. It's been a dozen years since I've sailed. I've seen everything. Old Wallace, Dan Black Peter, Great Roger, we sailed to the Cape of Good Hope.
Black Peter, you say? I've heard rumors about that one.
He was the worst of them all. He was a liar, and violent too. Swinging those fists of his around. He was a tyrant, and not much of a captain. At least, not as good as Great Roger.
Roger.
I see. Yes. I was told terrible tales about Black Peter.
But you ain't heard the worst.
Tell me, and let's have another drink.
It was in 1883 that it happened. The August of that year. Peter Carey was captain of the Sea Unicorn, and I was a spare harpooner. We were coming out of the ice pack on our way home. One evening, we saw a little craft that had been blown north. There was only one man on her, and he wasn't a sailor. The crew must have thought that she'd foundered, and they made for the Norwegian coast in the dinghy. I guess they all drowned. We took the man on board.
And who was he?
I don't know. During the crossing, he and the skipper enjoyed some long talks. His baggage was just a tin box.
That's strange enough.
Aye. Even stranger was that on the second night, he disappeared. Nobody knew what happened to him. And of course, nobody could ask Black Peter about it.
You know what happened, don't you?
I do. I saw the skipper tie his heels and push him over the rail in the middle of my watch on that dark night. 2 days before we sighted the Shetland Lights.
Black Peter's a murderer.
Aye. Those that know him wouldn't be surprised to hear it. But all this must stay between us. All right?
Of course. Back in a second. I'm off to the Kazi.
I'll be here with my drink.
人物出過ぎ。これが船長ジョン・ネリガン。なるほどね。タバコを忍び込ませると。はい。
Here it is. Have you got any tobacco? I've run out of mine.
Nah, I lost my pouch. I don't know where. Wait a minute. What's this?
Oh, is this your tobacco pouch?
Well, oh.
お前のか。
it is.
Well, I have to go now. I know a captain who's planning an expedition to Cape Cod. Captain Ahab's his name. He commanded the Pequod. He might need good harpooners. I'll tell him about you.
Maybe. If you like, aye.
I'm done here. It's time to leave.
スコリー。これ。あなた大変を要する有権証。これ次どこ行くの？とりあえず警察行くか。違うな。でも手がかりが多分動くな、これで。キャンズはタバコ入れ自分のものだと確認した。ということは、彼は殺人を犯した。殺人を犯したとは限りません。違うな。じゃあ、なんかこれすごいな。ロジックがすごい。全部赤にしたらどうなの？青にしないといけないのか？わからん。しないよ。ここか。どうすんの次。迷子。なんもないだろ。
These are the suspect's belongings. A pocket knife.
これ調べた。
It was used to force the door of... I wonder if these are connected.
証券、これと証券を比べるのたまたまだけど。8532。
Now we have the proof that Nelligan's papers were indeed here. It seems that they have vanished, however.
高価な有価証券は盗まれたブレーキカーの中に保管されていた。ネリガンの動機。ジョン・ネリガンは有価証券を盗んでいるところを見られたかもしれない。これがピーター・キャリー殺害の動機かもしれない。ネリガンとハートレーは共に嘘をついて寄って一緒に働いている可能性がある。なるほどね。ジョン・ホップリン・ネリガンとライアム・ハートレーが共謀してピーター・キャリーを殺害した。ネリガンの動機はキャリーが行った窃盗に対する復讐。ハートレイの動機は嫉妬とキャリー夫人への愛情だった。ライアム・ハートレイとジョン・ネリガンは凶悪かつ計画的。いや、主犯はハートレイだろ。靴一致してるから。
The case is solved. I am now ready to present the guilty party.
So tell me,
ハートレイだよな、
who
絶対
killed
やった
Black
の。
Peter?
くら
There
え
are two culprits, Inspector, Nelligan and Hartley.
What? Well, I would never have guessed, Mr. Holmes. They are a rotten pair, though.
It was a combination of two motives, culminating in one crime.
What were their motives?
The first was revenge. Black Peter possessed the bond certificates that had belonged to Nelligan's father, and young Nelligan wished to retrieve them.
And the second?
The second was a crime of passion. Liam Hartley was in love with Black Peter's wife, and this caused a conflict between him and Carrie.
Well, well, well. Makes sense, Mr. Holmes.
I suggest that you organize a small confrontation between the two, just to confirm my accusations.
That's a good idea, Mr. Holmes. I'll talk to these fellows. Join me in the interrogation room.
ハートレイの腕力がなか
Gentlemen,
ったら
we
無
know
理だろ。
everything about your association to kill Black Peter. Admit that you planned it together.
Our association? I don't even know this man.
You needed to kill Peter Carey. There had to be two of you there.
Ridiculous. I'm innocent.
嘘つくな。
All that remains is to determine the level of guilt. Which one of you is the initiator in this case?
But I just told you I've never seen this man before.
It's him. He's the culprit. He was forcing me. He threatened me. He's the mastermind behind it all.
Shut up. You're a lunatic.
Well, it all seems very clear, don't you think, Mr. Holmes?
Both are guilty, of course, but I believe that Hartley was the initiator of the crime.
It's ridiculous. Why would I need the help of this weakling?
You wanted to be rid of the man who was terrorizing his wife, and who prevented the two of you from being together. Young Nelligan was just following his lead.
You are wrong. I have nothing whatsoever to do with this.
You'll explain that to the judge.
The case is resolved, Inspector. I shall return to Baker Street.
Very well, Mr. Holmes. Goodbye for now.
ライアム・ハートレイとジェネレイが一緒に計画してキャリーを殺害した。ハートレイは自立キャリーと一緒にいたいと望んだ。後者は証券、株が喜んで援助した。ハートレイが主犯格と判断した。彼は今、公正な裁きを受けるだろう。別の結末を選べんの？スペースをして真実を明らかにする。合ってんじゃん。別の結末も見てみたいけどな。入れるか。これより事件の最終的な連絡 この事件の全ての保存データが知らない。じゃあ別の結末ちょっと見てみたいか。見に行こう、別の結末を。ネリガンが犯人だっていう可能性があるのか。違かったわ。え？すべてを覆すのか、ネリガンを犯人にすんのか。なんか手帳回収しに来たやつが犯人かもっていう。で、これは害のない誘惑だったんだ。だからこれはネリガンの動機になるんだ。で、ハートレイは無実っていう選択肢もできるのか。運が良かったにすればいいのか。で、ネリガンが犯人。情報プレイヤーできるやん。ジョン・ネリガンは境遇の犠牲。いや、俺無理だよ。許さないよ。殺人は許しません。面白いな、これ。
The case is solved. I am now ready to present the guilty party.
So tell me, who killed
いろんな結末があるのか。
It was John Nelligan, Inspector.
I thought as much, but I failed to see his motive.
Revenge, Inspector.
絶対に許すな。
Black
殺せ
possessed the bond certificates that had belonged to Nelligan's father, and young Nelligan wished to retrieve them.
Well then, I'll arrest this Nelligan. I don't fancy his chances of getting out of prison after this.
I will accompany you, Inspector.
そういうことか。ハートレイは別にそんな情熱的じゃなくて、ただ単に
You
好
are
き、
guilty
軽い
of
好
the
きだった
murder
ってい
of
う。
Black
殺す
Peter.
までではないと。
Confess now, and your punishment may be more merciful.
No! I didn't kill him!
Your motive? The valuable securities that Peter Carey stole from your father. Carey refused to return the bond certificates, and then he threatened you. You were afraid, and in your panic, you took the harpoon and made your lucky throw.
Lucky throw.
But that's not true!
You're a liar, Mr. Nelligan. It's all over now.
The case is resolved, Inspector. I shall return to Baker Street.
Very well, Mr. Holmes. Goodbye for now.
まだ別の結末あんのか。間違ってるってこと？赤ってこと？でもね、ネリガン犯人じゃなくない？あんな否定しなくない？なんかさ、本当に犯人だったらさ、あそこまで言われたらさ、認めるやん。認めないのおかしいよなっていう話なんよ。違う。ネリガンも無実なんだよ。で、力技なんよ。こいつが犯人の可能性がある。紙品を探してる。これケアンズが犯人っていう可能性もあるんよ。ちょっと待って。ネリガンを認めた、ネリガンが、ネ ネリガンじゃない。ネリガンか。ネリガンが犯人だったら放免する場合どうなんだろう。見逃す場合。結末多すぎでしょ。全部見ようぜ。結末見たいわ、全部。ジョン・ネリガンが犯人。
It was John Nelligan, Inspector.
I thought as much, but I failed to see his motive.
おじさんだ。
Revenge
おじさんだけが犯人の可能性あるよな。
Peter possessed the
共
bond
犯じゃない可能
certificates
性あるくない
that belonged to Nelligan's father, and young Nelligan wished to retrieve them.
Well then, I'll arrest this Nelligan. I don't fancy his chances of getting out of prison after this.
I will accompany you, Inspector.
ネリガンなんか怪しくないもんな。
John Nelligan, it was you who killed Black Peter. You attempted to convince him to return the bond certificates, and you threatened to call the police. Peter Carey was drunk. He drew his knife. In panic, you took the harpoon and made your lucky throw in self-defense. Put that in your report, Lestrade.
No, I didn't kill anyone. You have it all wrong.
You better thank Mr. Holmes for saving your neck, Nelligan.
The case is resolved.
Very well.
違う。違うんや。ネリガンは悪くない。俺は信じてるネリガンを。あんな19歳の少年に人は殺せない。そしてましてや、犯罪に。こいつが黒だ。ネリガン無実。探してただけ髪を。トリックキャンズあれ消すの。あんな、全然出てこなかったキャンズが犯人なわけないもんな。あの酒場でさ、腕相撲したやつ。なわけないもんな。次の日。
If you wouldn't mind, Mr. Holmes, could you explain it to me?
As I informed you on our way here, Patrick Cairns is the murderer of Black Peter.
Why bring me here? Wouldn't it be better if we were out looking for him?
That would be futile, as he will be with us in approximately 12 seconds.
Oh, well, if this is your idea of humour...
No, I just heard the front door. Prepare yourself.
Good day, gentlemen. A young lad gave me a note from Captain Ahab. Am I at the right address? Is he here?
Indeed, it is the correct address. But in place of your captain, may I present to you Inspector Lestrade of Scotland Yard?
That means...
It means, my friend, that you are arrested for the murder of Black Peter.
What? What? A trap? You think you can take me?
Here now. We'll have none of that.
And I say that we
Ooh.
will.
あ、してくれとんね。俺あ、痛い。あ、いいのか。俺舐めとんちゃうぜ。W 俺ウィナー。
Lestrade, are you all right? Are you able to stand?
Oh, my jaw. Gore. He took me by surprise, Mr. Holmes. Otherwise, he would have seen what I'm capable of.
眠いから。
Yes, he was lucky.
ボコボコにしてったわ。
But you got him.
こんなおっち
It
ゃん。
was remarkably easy. He lost his balance after he struck you.
And you practiced
じゃあ、響きそうだけ
boxing,
ど
I
な。
know. You must have hit him hard.
ボクシングの達人なんかい。
We should call for a police cab and then take you to the hospital.
Yes, well, no need for a hospital. I would prefer to keep this between us. You know.
Of course, Inspector. The case is closed.
正しいみたい。これが正解らしい。緑色に光った。 今まで赤だったじゃん。え、俺が真相なの？ずるやん。じゃあ全部のストーリー見るか。あの二人とも無実だったの？騙されたわ、それは。そうだよな。あの、ずるやん。こんなちょっとしか出てないやつが犯人なんて。ハートレイだろ、どう考えても。ずるだ、ずる。
Good afternoon. I must be at the wrong address. I'd like to speak with a ship's captain, a Captain
もうありがちな展
Ahab.
開。
Is that you?
なくはない。
No, my name is Sherlock Holmes.
That detective fella? So, you wanted to see me?
That is correct. We need to talk.
About what?
About Black Peter, who was killed in his own hut with a harpoon.
You know, don't ya?
Yes,
How?
the tobacco pouch. You recognized it.
Oh, the sailor. It was you. Unbelievable.
不找你よ。
Well, fine. I confess. But if you really do know everything, you should also know that I didn't want to kill him. He made me do it.
I know. Did you know about this story with the bond certificates? Did you need money?
Yeah. I just wanted him to cough up a little silver. I'm out of work, and I thought
こいつ金なかったもんな。
Well, he refused outright, and he insulted me. I reminded him I knew
脅したら
about
ゆすったら
that
ね、
murder
お前
committed
人殺しやろっ
at
て。
sea in 1883. Then he got mad when I spoke about his treasure. I barely just had time to throw the harpoon at him before he could jump at me with his knife. You know the truth. What will you do now?
I ask that you return the bond certificates. Keep some of them. You will need them in your exile. It is better that you leave the country for a few years.
And you won't say anything to the police?
I will not say anything as long as you return the money.
Well, I'll do as you ask. But what about Inspector Lestrade?
I will deal with him. Goodbye.
It's good that you asked me to come, Mr. Holmes.
We'll just-
We do need to talk.
About what?
What do you mean? Our case, Mr. Holmes. You sent me a message via your little thug,
His name is Wiggins, Inspector.
telling me that the case is solved. Well, Mr. Holmes, tell me, who is our murderer and where is he?
The morgue.
Eh?
His name is, or rather was, Pablo Coventrao. He was also on the ship with Peter Carey, and he was a harpooner. I'll tell you everything, Inspector, but do calm down. Mrs. Hudson will bring us tea and orange cake.
Orange cake? You're spoiling me, Mr. Holmes. That's my favourite.
Ah, Mr. Holmes. Inspector Lestrade told me that I should thank you for clearing my name. He also said that you were waiting for me here. I came as fast as I could. I cannot thank you enough. It is all because of you that this nightmare is finally over.
I believe that this belongs to you.
My father's securities. Incredible! But how did you get them?
It would take far too long to explain.
これがトゥルー
Tell
か
me.
トゥルーエンド
This is
か
extraordinary. You are a genius.
Then that may serve as an explanation. Goodbye, Mr. Nelligan, and good luck.
Goodbye, Mr. Holmes. And thank you. 1,000 times thank you.
これがなんか一番幸せな終わり方だな。あと一つだけやってないのがある。ネリガンが主犯格っていうエンドを見て終わりにしよう。それ以外も、それで終わりだよな。 なんで出てこないんだ。これか。これの、ネリガンが主犯格。だけ見て終わろう。
The case is solved.
調べてみよ
I am now ready to present the guilty
う。この
party.
6個で合ってるか。
So tell me, who killed Black Peter?
There are two culprits, Inspector, Nelligan and Hurtley.
What? Well, I would never have guessed, Mr. Holmes. They are a rotten pair, though.
It was a combination of two motives, culminating in one crime.
What were their motives?
The first was revenge. Black Peter possessed the bond certificates that had belonged to Nelligan's father, and young Nelligan wished to retrieve them.
And the second?
The second was a crime of passion. Liam Hurtley was in love with Black Peter's wife, and this caused a conflict between him and Carrie.
Well, well, well. Makes sense, Mr. Holmes.
I suggest that you organize a small confrontation between the two, just to confirm my accusations.
That's a good idea, Mr. Holmes. I'll talk to these fellows. Join me in the interrogation room. Gentlemen, we know everything about your association to kill Black Peter. Admit that you planned it together.
Our association? I don't even know this man.
You needed to kill Peter Carey. There had to be two of you there.
Ridiculous. I'm innocent.
All that remains is to determine the level of guilt. Which one of you is the initiator in this case?
But I just told you I've never seen this man before.
It's him. He's the culprit. He was forcing me. He threatened me. He's the mastermind behind it all.
Shut up. You're a lunatic.
Well, it all seems very clear, don't you think, Mr. Holmes?
Inspector, I believe that Nelligan is the true culprit. Hurtley was his accomplice, blinded by his love for Peter's wife.
You've got it wrong. It isn't true.
That's right. I confess.
Well, young man, it turns out you are the gang leader. I don't fancy your chances now.
The case is resolved, Inspector. I shall
こ
return
の
to
6個のエンド
Baker
で終わりかな。
Very well, Mr. Holmes. Goodbye for now.
キアンズが犯人だったかわかんねえよ。じゃあ、ちゃんとした真実で終わらすか。これが素晴らしい選択だったんだ。この結末を受け入れます。壊しちゃうか。フリックレンダー。
Yes.
How?
I ask that you return the bond certificates. Keep some of them. You will need them in your exile. It is better that you leave the country for a few years.
It's good that you asked me to come, Mr. Holmes. We do need to talk.
About
これがみんな幸せなエンドです。
Ah, Miss...
受け入れます。あ、なんかあるんだ。人格順位、哀れみの心。あなたと同じように事件を解決した人が 80%。ああ、意外と 60% なんだ。方面が。だから、断罪するのが 40% か。だってかわいそうだもん、ネリガンにお金返してほしいもん。
This trip to the
終
countryside.
わりかな。よーし、これで1話終わりですと。キリシ終わるべ。楽しいな、これ。またやるわ。 楽しかった。何話あるかわかんないけど。ありがとう。めっちゃ楽しかった。また、何話あるんだろう。何話あるかちょっと調べるわ。シャーロック・ホームズ。罪とは。何話あるかはわからないわ。わからん。面白かったよかった。またやるわ。多分、もう2話ぐらいあるんで、さすがに。もう2、3話あるべ。またやるわ。お疲れ様です。また、FPS に飽きた時にやります。それでは。意外にこういうのマルさん飽きそうやから、いや、なんか、2時間ぐらいはちょうどよくて、ちょうどいいんで俺好きっすね。2時間がマジちょうどいい。難しいけど、楽しい。では、お次だ。